Good evening, money magnets and master traders. It's your Uncle Charters. FOMC is coming in a couple of days, guys. The price action for SPY intraday has been pretty underwhelming. You can see how low the VIX is, which means volatility is super low. And today, well, we can see in hindsight that SPY squeezed the bears out at the end of the day, but we're not trading in hindsight. We're trading in real time where we don't actually know what's going to happen in the market. This is what Uncle Charters does for a living besides trading his own positions. Is I tried to help lend some guidance to my extended family, my Discord members, and all of you guys, my subscribers. And some of my best TA or price action analysis, it does take place in my Discord. And I wrote this morning, next resistance is at 683.2 to put 684.5 and 686 in play. The most important part about this update, as simple and short as it is I wrote no puts unless 682 or 680 fails as support. And you guys can see this morning the market respected 682 as support. A couple of times it respected 683.2 as resistant, but you can also see a couple of times it faked us out on the breakout. I personally got faked out on the 1030 candle. When I tried to long the breakout of 683.2, it faked Uncle out. Eventually it did recapture 683.2 and treated that level as a support not once but twice. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But once Uncle got faked out, it's very important that we do not ego trade. We do not try to control the market. That's our ego talking. So because of how trappy SPY's price action was, I switched over to Tesla. And this morning I wrote 441 must clear to put 443, 445 and higher targets in play. Bears need to break down 439 and other support levels. 439 was the first one to send us lower. And we can see on the price action, I know I have a lot of lines, but you see on the price action, this one right here was the 441 breakout. I also had a 443 level, which broke out on the 15-minute chart and retested it as support before pushing up higher. But around here is when Uncle really started trading Tesla, because earlier I tried to trade SPY and SPY faked me out. So if one ticker symbol doesn't want to move how I want it to move or give me the love that I'm looking for, I will go on to the next ticker symbol. And for me, it was Tesla. And around that time, I wrote longing 441 breakout this morning worked really well. But as of now, 446.5 is the next support. If it fails, next pull back to 445 and 443 in play. Next setup for calls would be at 448 clear. So now I'm waiting what Tesla wants to do next. It bounced off 446.5 a couple of times and cleared the 448 level on the 15-minute chart. Once that happened, I let my group members know 448 cleared, putting 450 and 451.5 in play. No puts unless 448 fails as support. And it cleared there, and look at what happened. It was magical. Popped all the way up to 460 until we had that hot stove rejection from the 460 levels. A hot stove rejection, and it was strong enough to break down that 458 level as a support. Was there bearish follow through? Absolutely, when it broke down my 456.5 level. This was all alerted in the group. I wrote here 458 failed and already hit 456.5 as support. If it fails next, 455 and 453-ish incoming. It was an incredible day as far as day trading goes. It wasn't with SPY, it ended up being with Tesla. This is what money magnets do. We are not picky from which direction the money wants to come to us. We accept money that wants to come to us in all different directions and from any ticker symbols that wants to give it to us. We are money magnets. Today, that ticker symbol was Tesla. But that's the intraday price action. I digress on that. We're going to move on now to the daily chart. And as you guys can see, SPY gapped up again, cleared my triangle pattern, bounced off my 682 fib extension level, and cleared the 1.5 fib extension level. That was 684.5. As you guys can see, the market is going crazy. Not really day tradable, but if you're holding swing longs right now, congratulations. So what's the next plan? I tell you this, as far as day trading goes, we need the volatility. FOMC for sure. Volatility will come and it will be day tradable and swing tradable. The day before FOMC, flip a coin. I've seen days where it is tradable, where there is volatility, there is movement, and I've seen days where nothing happened. So we will see what happened. And after FOMC, after the news get dropped, I've seen lots of volatility return the days after FOMC as well. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of days. FOMC is this Wednesday. We still have tomorrow to deal with. And despite the last 2 days intraday price action being terrible, because last Friday was terrible as well, we still must be prepared, because one of Uncle's trading principle is that not all trading days are created equal. So even though the last 2 days has been meh, it doesn't mean tomorrow will be terrible. It could be better. It's very important that we keep a strong mindset. And remember, even if SPY doesn't trade well, there are other ticker symbols that will. So let's not put SPY on a pedestal. SPY is beneath us. With that being said, 684.5 and 682 are the two critical levels, fib levels, that were cleared today. Now, if we also look at the intraday, a reminder that the 683.2 level tested it multiple times and defended itself as support. It showed buying pressure. So the market makers recognize that level for whatever reason. So 684.5, 683.2 we can say is based on the triangle patterns breakout, and then of course the buy zone, which also happens to be a fib level of 682. If those levels fail, it's gap fill time, and yes, it's very possible it happens before the big news day, the big day today, FOMC, but those levels must fail to kick off some selling pressure. If we see a gap down, maybe that'll be a sign that we'll get some more downside as well. But either way, price needs to get below those levels to put the gap fills in play. I do have support at 680.5, 679, 677 for the gap fill, 674 for the previous all-time high, and the next gap fills all the way down at 671.6ish. Remember, we need some false breakout setups, which means captured levels breaking back down, and you want to see it rug pull style, elevator down. Because if SPY stays above 684.5, the breakout stays intact. And the next fib extension levels I have are at 687, and the one above that is at 690.5. And we could just be gapping up and chopping in the middle of the day before end of day rallies, or just melting up. Either way, I'm not trusting to trade SPY until volatility is restored. That means we need the VIX back above the 200 daily moving average. We need the VIX back above 20 is what I really want to say. But we'll talk about the VIX later in the video. Here's QQQ, did the same thing as SPY, but the next level to look at is 628. As long as above that level, 630 and 632 are in play. No puts unless we get a false breakout setup. I have support at 626.5 and 625 fib level. Those levels fail. Gap fill time could be a big move to the downside, but the gap fills all the way down at 617, and there's another big gap all the way down to 610.5. Here is Tesla. Beautiful, beautiful trade today. Now, I know there's a lot of lines there, but you can hear Uncle's voice. And Uncle's voice is telling you that the last critical level that Tesla cleared was 448. That's my 61.8 fib level. As long as above that level, stay bullish. And the next critical fib level is all the way up at 458. So I have resistance at 453, 455, and 458. If those levels clear, we can expect another $20 to $30 pop to the upside. I would not switch back to being bearish unless Tesla drops below 448 and 441. Here is NVDA still attempting the W pattern. Could be the W pattern is getting closer. The next level needs to clear is 191.6. If it does and it's above 194, 195.6, and new all-time highs are incoming. I would not switch back to bearish unless 190 and 188.5 fail as support to put 186 back in play. That's a fib level, but also gap fill level. And then 183 and 182 below. That's the next gap fill. IWM bounced off a fib level, the 1.236 fib level, around 249.45-ish. If that bounce is truly strong, it needs to get IWM above 250.86 and 252 to be bullish. Because if that level fails tomorrow, 249.45, we're dropping. We have some gaps to fill. 246.4 is around where the gap fill area is. And then of course I have the critical fib level at 245 and 243.5 as targets as well. Apple's looking great. It's looking very bullish. And the last critical fib extension level it cleared was 266.86 and 268.6. So as long as above those levels, 270, 271.22 and possibly 273 above would be in play. Bears need a rug pull to trust the profit taking price action. I need to see it break down support levels 268.6, 266.8 and definitely 265. If those levels fail, 262.8 for the gap fill in play, and then much lower, 261, 259, 256 or lower. And last but certainly not least, here is the VIX. I need to see volatility return, which means I need to see the VIX pop to the upside. And to see a pop back to the upside, 16 must recapture, 17.5 must recapture, but definitely we need to see back above 20. If that happens, get ready to rock and roll with SPY, because as long as the VIX is low, as long as below 16, 14.8 will be in play. That means volatility is low. And before I let you guys go, here is the DarkPool level. Majority of it came as the 685.2ish area. There's another one around 676.96. We rounded to 677. But other than that, 685.2 is where majority of the DarkPool orders are. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully you found value in today's video. Good luck tomorrow and the rest of this week. Peace.